Now we, there we go. Well, hello, everybody. It's Transformation Tuesday. Y'all ready for this? September 2nd, 2025. Let's take a deep breath into this day. And this time in total gratitude that we can. Well, we kind of must take a breath, breathing in and exhaling. Oh, yeah, Transformation Tuesday, we've been coming to you every Tuesday since March of 2020 with different topics, different people's, different point of views on shifting and uplifting the world, the planet, and not only the physical planet, but our mental planet in here. So for September, um, we wanted to talk about setting intentions for different kind of stories, um, on and on. But before we start, I want to read to you, before I introduce our guest speaker, from Marianne Williamson's A Year of Miracles. Yeah, A Year of Miracles. And today is day 247 of A Year of Miracles. Isn't that amazing? No, wild, Mindy?
It is.
Yeah, there we go. So here we go. September 2nd. Today, I will not play small. Boom. Isn't that great? Let me read to you what she says. Today, I will not allow false modesty to keep me from claiming the power within me. God placed it there to be used on his behalf, and I serve no one by hiding my light. Pretending to be less than I am is a game that I play at my peril. In truth, I've only scratched the surface of the gifts I can give to the world. And it is my mission while I'm on earth to give to life all that I have. I arrived on this planet with a store of power, and so far I have only allowed myself to experience a fraction of it. As I devote this power to be used in the service of the healing of the world, it will ignite into a mighty force. So is who I am. Today I see the beauty and power and importance in everyone, that I might see it within myself. It is humble, not arrogant, to accept that power, that spirit within me. Nothing in the world can match in importance the gift that God has given me. Wow, what a way to start September, right, Mindy? So, all right, well, so it is my pleasure to introduce to you my buddy and my pal and one of my dear friends, Mindy Nichols. So I know, Mindy, you have this professional title, but that's like just one of the many titles of Enterprise Application Analyst third, three, which to me that means nothing, but I know who you really, I know the real title that I have for you. And that's a change agent in the world. And, Mindy has had 22 years of healthcare experience, 22 years, and been a mentee. I love how you say mentee in dream building. So we've been working together for 7 years now, of 7 years of brave thinking, which is amazing. So here's your, when I asked you for your achievements, I love that you call this epic certifications, 6 epic certifications, and a certificate in mindfulness based stress reduction through the Center for Mindfulness and Compassion. So I know you have a current role and project, your global security projects, but also I know that what you do, you're fundraising for cancer research through your races and working on an idea for a peace garden. We're going to talk more about that too. So you've been volunteering for social justice, healing, women's empowerment, fair trade, cancer disease research and healing, climate, and sustainability. So here's what I really like that I know you and the people that you associate with the podcast you listen to, just your whole energy that you're creating and your vision of creating inclusive healing gardens and spaces for community of all ages. And Mindy is increasing compassion, peace, and serenity in the world. So I want to welcome you, Mindy, to our little community, our big community. And come on in here and tell us a little bit about yourself, your passions, and I'll interrupt you with some questions that I have for you too. So come on in here.
Well, thank you, Judy. It's such a pleasure and joy to be with you today. I'm very grateful that you've been my mentor for 7 years, and I have learned so much from you and from the curriculums that we've gone through. Uh, and I'm really passionate about peace and serenity and healing. These things have been themes in my life for most of my life. I live in Austin, Texas, and I've had the privilege of working with so many compassionate people in healthcare for over 20 years. And during the pandemic, I had a wonderful opportunity to become certified in mindfulness stress reduction. And uh, the staff that I worked with at the hospital was working grueling hours, and we were surrounded by a lot of challenges that we hadn't ever seen before in healthcare. And the skills from that really inspired me. There's also um, an experience that my sister had. She has recovered from cancer for the last 3 years. And one of the things that really brought a lot of peace and happiness to her during that experience was the view of the garden outside her window in the hospital. And almost all of the buildings that I went to that had a garden or some kind of outdoor space that was really peaceful and tranquil, the feeling and the healing that came from that was tremendous. And so I had an idea of creating healing gardens and spaces for people of all ages to include everyone in a process of peace and serenity.
Wow. There you go. There you go. Well, tell me a little bit about possibly where that, like you had the idea, I remember. Well, actually, I think that idea has been growing in you for many years, right? Tell me about a little bit of the as the idea grew and grew and grew. What was that journey like?
It started locally by seeing what was helping people, what was helping staff, what was helping patients. And then I had an opportunity to visit my neighbors who moved to Hawaii right at the end of the pandemic. And I found a peace garden there on the Big Island in Kona. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. It's an interfaith garden that was created by a group of women who started a nonprofit and uh, did a lot of fundraising. It's now a public garden in Hawaii. It's $10 to go there. And it is one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen. And it was started by these extraordinary women who had a vision of nature healing people. So that really inspired me to keep going the idea.
So you kind of created a little garden. Like sometimes I think when we have these visions and everything, but we start like where we are with what we have. Tell us like your idea of where what you've done, like right in your space, and how that's helped you.
Well, a couple of years ago when I was living in New Mexico, I remodeled my backyard. That was my first kind of DIY landscape design project. And I was able to create a garden back there just taking down things that were old and not safe anymore, removing those things, and then putting in place recycled materials, local plants, water resistant plants, plants that would attract hummingbirds and bees and pollinators so that it would be more arid friendly and native with native plants in that area. And it really was a very serene experience, even though there was a lot of sweat and learning involved. The outcome was really worth it.
There you go. And I know recently that it's funny how like your energy attracts other people with that same energy. And recently there's a school teacher that you met. Can you tell me about what that meeting was and how your visions collided or are colliding? Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. A teacher that I met through you, she had an idea of creating a lab garden for her students. And she wrote and was awarded a grant of $10,000 to create this garden. And she has a tremendous amount of creative idea and material to work with. And I'm really excited to see her vision start to unfold this year and to help her out with anything that she needs help with. It was really wonderful to connect with someone that had the same ideas of sharing the garden with children and allowing them to see nature unfold as it is and to see that relationship start to flourish.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. So you also like the last time whenever I meet with you, like I wish we had all day and not just like this little tiny hour. But you also had this. You were telling me about a process that you were going through about joyful stories. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that came, and perhaps about the joyful stories?
Oh, I would love to tell you about that. So I was working on an exercise, a writing exercise that is created by a woman called Catherine Brooks in association with Richard Bowles. It's part of a professional development program. And there's an exercise that I did called Joy Stories. They're life stories. And the idea is to write down 7 stories about joy. Um, and they each have different challenges, obstacles, a limit, hurdle, or restraint that you had to overcome to accomplish a goal. And as I was writing those, I just was really inspired by all of the incredible partnerships and kindness and goodness of people that I've experienced in life, and to see themes of peace and joy and kindness, how they're all linked together in these different stories. So it was really fun to write them. They're kind of like little bite-sized stories. They're not long, um, but they
Would
were.
you read us? Could you read us one of them or a couple?
Sure. So this is I'll share 3 that were about healthcare. So uh, the first one was a situation that made you feel part of something larger than yourself. So this one is Mama Jama. Mama Jama is a cycling event that happened in Texas, and it was sponsored through a variety of local businesses, hospitals, and sponsors. And I met them when I was volunteering through Fair Trade, and I had just overcome learning how to walk again from knee surgery, which is another joy story. And so my doctor recommended to do cycling as part of my exercise routines. And so I thought this is a great way to combine exercise and the goal of fundraising. So the first step was to create a sponsorship through the hospital and create a team because we had no team. And so I reached out to the directors who were in charge of the marketing, fundraising, and event campaigns. And we got in touch and made the connections between them and the race sponsors. And the other obstacle was just the perceived limitation I had about my knee, that it just wasn't going to heal. There's a lot of scar tissue and inflammation and all those things. And I also didn't have a way to get my bike to the race at that time, just little things like that. So I made a plan of, all the steps to accomplish this. So the next thing was filling out all the forms, making a plan, and then the preparations. So I was fundraising and creating donations with folks. And then we had a training and a writing team and a training plan that involved going over a variety of terrain and areas for specific amounts of time and days. And I found friends and colleagues at work who were interested, and we joined a corporate team. And then we found out ways, my friend and I, who was riding with me, how to get the bikes there. So we showed up on race day. It was really wonderful. The energy there was incredible. Um, we did finish the race, all of us together, and helped raise thousands of dollars. And I think it was really wonderful to see how many people would come together to support each other's health, how many family members uh, felt supported and loved and uplifted by what we did that day.
So bingo, right there. And as all the preparations, overcoming those paradigms in your head that kept you moving forward. So what was like one of the things in the Nigglies at your up here where you um, overrode them to keep moving forward? Was that a strong why you were doing it, or what? What were some of the limiting paradigms that you were overcoming then?
Mm. There was a few that kept coming up over and over consistently. I can't do this. It's too hard. It's too painful. It hurts. Um, my body just won't respond to what I'm asking it to do. And then there was um, the excuses of, oh, I'd rather go do this. I'd rather sit on the couch and watch Netflix. Um, and I think what helped motivate was the teams that had done this previously, the year before. They were so passionate, and the women that I met at the fundraising, and people were counting on us to accomplish this together. And I kept thinking about the women in my life who had overcome cancer, and it mattered to me to do something for them. So I was willing to give up some evenings and weekends, and willing to give up Netflix, and um, willing to be hot and uncomfortable, and use the motivation of love to complete it.
There you go. Willing to be uncomfortable in the interest of a growth or a vision. That's awesome. All right. Well, so tell us another story. So that was like the health story. And did you become healthier in the process, your own body?
I did. And I felt really good afterwards. And then having that um, experience as part of my memory and our shared memory, that we can always go back to the medal and the jersey and the little race bib and all the photos, and remember the feeling from that day, and the love that people felt and families that we were supporting.
So can you see how that one boom, not well, that part of your life and your time here on planet, how that also in the peace garden, it all intertwines. Like that has a place in the peace garden. No, peace garden aren't just like there. It's like, oh yeah, that's when I was willing to do the work, and look what happened. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, let's go. I want another one.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna find the one.
Yeah, can y'all see how Mindy does the work?
Ooh, I love it. This is
One of the things is I'm really impressed that, I read that when I said that today I will not play small. And it's like, okay, Mindy, time to shine your light out there. Keep going.
So this is another little joy story, a little mini joy story about family albums. My grandma used to create family albums for all of us. And the prompt for this story is something that was exciting or inspiring to you. And I'm inspired by my grandma's love of family and how devoted she was to her loved ones, and how she recorded and documented all of the beautiful things, the moments, and the joy for all of us, to give us a visual um, reminder of what love and celebration look like. So, the goal, what I wanted to accomplish here was creating memory books with an appealing design, pictures and words for family members and loved ones to capture the shared joy and love of being together. And I hoped to increase the happiness of family members and loved ones by receiving a meaningful gift that they could enjoy for many years. And then the obstacle, um, limit, hurdle, or restraint was time and technology and budget. So
Well,
I had
because
a
I
budget,
think at the time when you were doing that, you're working full time.
right.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
So I had a budget and I had time and other obligations, and also a technology, a software that I had never used before. It was unfamiliar. So what I did was first I set the budget for each project with the template of like how many pages it had to be, and then edited all the photos for the most expressive um, and appealing selections that carried a lot of meaning. So I had to really choose which ones were going to be included, because all of us take thousands of pictures all the time, at least I do. And then selecting the templates to go with each theme for each person in the family. So finding out what they really liked, what would really matter to them, what they would think is beautiful, and what they would enjoy looking at. And then I set a timeline of when it needed to be done by. And so that was either holidays or birthdays, and worked on it in 2 or 3 hour blocks of time, either on the evenings or on the weekends, and then experimented with the software and learned about it, all the tools that were available through the software itself, through YouTube, just playing around with it, troubleshooting, asking other people for help. And then getting comfortable with that, then I completed the books and finished those orders, paid for them, mailed them out. And the result was that everyone in the family that received one of those books absolutely loved it. My nieces who have theirs, it's their favorite book. They love it so much, they wore the pages out. I sent one to my mom of a family reunion event that we had at the lake. And it was, she cried when she opened it. And it really was one of the most special gifts, that she felt a lot of gratitude that I was grateful for her as a mom. And I think you received one of those
Yes,
as
I did. I was going to say, yes, I have that one too. And the cool thing is, um, you were planting seeds in our internal peace gardens. Isn't that incredible? You like the internal peace by doing and taking those actions very creatively. You've like spread it. It's the seeds in the garden that you spread. So yes, I did. So I think we have time for like one more story. I know there were seven of them, but I mean, what an incredible thing. Here's what I think is important for all of you who are getting some cool ideas here. You can place your focus on what's going wrong with the world and everything. There's so much out there, and I'm not saying not to do that. However, by taking the time out to see, to do a project, or to like, okay, what is really important? What's my part in uplifting the world? So I love this idea of the joy story. So So we've had one about the healthcare, right? And then one about personal relationships. So tell us one more, and then I have another question for you.
I would love to share another one. So this other one I'm going to share is just out of pure joy because I loved this story and it was so fun going back through the years of things that stood out. This writing prompt is helping someone or making someone's life better. And even though there was more than one that I could choose from in this one, I choose to write here about connecting generations through play. And this one was absolute joy. So the goal, so this is when I was teaching preschool at the time, was a successful connection between a preschool class and seniors at a nursing home during a planned 1 hour connection event. And we had to accomplish that together safely and cheerfully. That was our goal. So the um, obstacles to overcome were unpredictable behaviors by toddlers and seniors. The environment to us, which was completely unknown. We were very unfamiliar with where we were going. We were leaving our familiar territory, going to new territory. Um, Low attention span, distance, travel, the ratio of kids to adults, those are all things that we considered. And the plan, step by step, was to prepare a number of activities that were time related that they had already been enjoying and ones that we knew that they would really like. And then we
So you're
also,
talking about your preschool kids, not necessarily the seniors, right?
yes. And
Well,
then we also collaborated with their teams there, their event planners and the therapists and the staff that they had there to find out what the residents would like. And so we put all that into our plan, the time it would take to complete those activities, all the materials we needed. We prepared all of that. We asked for a tour prior to the event so that we could become more familiar with the space that we were going to be in and check it out. We got all the waivers and liability forms signed by staff parents. We recruited parents as extra chaperones and family members to come and join us and communicated clearly and often with parents about what was happening. And we had a wonderful bus driver that took us there. And we only planned events that were going to last 10 minutes. So we had a series of games and other things that really worked well. So the result, what we accomplished together, uh, we played a number of games, including music. We sang songs together. It was so fun. And then we played this one game while they were tapping around a colorful balloon, and the seniors absolutely loved it. Loved it. And the kids loved it too. They were talkative and lively and engaged. And we sat in a circle with them and just really enjoyed our time together. And the result and how they measured what happened afterwards was one of the residents main therapist caregivers came up to us afterwards in shock because one of the senior residents had started talking for the first time in months, and before that day had been completely mute and completely unengaged. And they had not been, up until then, they had not been successful in helping that person express themselves. And just being around toddlers for an hour, hearing music and playing a balloon game, helped them to start expressing themselves again. So that was a really powerful result for us to witness.
wow, boom, right there. Intergenerational healing,
Mhm.
and so many of those youngsters, like they may or may not see their grandparents, or all of that, but it's so important, isn't it? Did you see? Yeah. Wow.
Yes, it is important. And what that showed us was it taught us that it doesn't take much effort, time. It's not all that expensive to create a feeling of love and connection and closeness between the generations. It's easy and it's almost free.
Boom. They're my boom glasses. Like that's like stellar. Oh wow. Well, let's take a deep breath in here. Boy, you gave me so many ideas, and the cool thing is you're out there implementing them. Usually, there's so ideas; those are great and everything, but it doesn't mean anything until we're willing to take action. Wow, that is so cool. Thank you so much. I want to ask you one question that I asked. We were talking a little bit before this about billboards, right?
Yes.
Yes, the pass it on billboards, right? And so I always ask at the end, it's like, okay, so you're driving down the highway and your picture's up there on the billboard. What is the message that you would be putting out, Mindy? And when I was thinking about this just yesterday, I'm driving down 620 toward Lakeway, and I look up and I see Dolly Parton up there. And let's see, what was hers was everyone deserves a little kindness or something like that. Be kind to everyone with big old Dolly up there. And it just made me smile. And then on the other side of the was another pass it on that said, practice listening. They might just be right. So I'm looking. So Mindy, let's put a billboard up there with you and your beautiful picture and your energy up there. What would you love on your pass it on billboard?
Hmm.
Hmm.
What about breathe in peace, breathe out peace?
Let's practice this right now. We'll send it all around. We can do this. Breathe. Go ahead. It's all yours. You could lead us all in this. Okay.
Breathe in peace for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in peace and release peace out. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks,
Breathe
Mindy.
in, peace out.
Thank you so much. We're going to put energy on you and everything that you're doing and have done and continue to do with your vision and everything. So we're going to send it to you, Mindy. And this is your law of receiving. I love it. Put the hands up because you're going to receive it for today. Thank you so much for coming in here. It's from all over the world, all over the planet, straight to you in your heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. There we go. Thank you so much for starting off um, our I just went like, see, I have to do this. Okay, there you go. Oops.